Hi everyone, Travel Addict Guy here, and I'm in Plaza Merced once again, and it is Monday, and we have some new news, breaking news on the crisis here in Andalusia, and we have some good news to report. Finally, some good news happening. I'm happy to report something good going on now. The figures for the virus in Malaga Province, lowest this month with 38 new cases reported. The 14-day cumulative incidence rate for the province is currently at 86.7 cases per 100,000 inhabitants. That is quite good. Malaga Province registered its lowest C19 infection figure this month so far, this Monday, the 22nd of March, with 38 new confirmed cases reported by the Andalusian Health Authority and no new virus-related deaths. Wow, we can salute that news. That is fantastic news, guys. Maybe we are turning a corner in this crisis. While the drop is significant, Sunday's new case figure was 87 and Saturday's 150. Monday's figures tend to be lower as fewer tests are carried out over the weekend. In the region of Andalusia, the figures were also low on Monday with 2 deaths and 380 new cases reported, compared with 746 on Sunday and 1,179 on Saturday. The largest number of cases reported has also contributed to bringing down the 14-day cumulative incidence figure for 100,000 inhabitants, now at 86.7 for Malaga Province and 122.5 in Andalusia. So Malaga is actually doing better now than Andalusia as a whole, and that is very, very good news indeed. In Malaga Province on Sunday, there were 178 patients with virus in hospital, 34 of them in intensive care. The percentage of hospital beds occupied by patients has gone down to 6.7, and that is some great news. I'm happy to report that today. Fantastic news here from the Costa del Sol in Andalusia. There was some controversy here over the AstraZeneca vaccine. There was some people refusing to take it, and they were saying it's causing some kind of clotting, blood clotting, and it was temporarily halted by the European Union and by Spain. So here it is. Spain debates injecting people over 55 with the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Interterritorial Council meeting between the Ministry of Health and the autonomous regions meets this Monday, after the vaccine received the endorsement of the European Medicines Agency following blood clot concerns. So that's what I was talking about. So Spain has not yet approved it for use, but they are meeting and they are going to talk about it, and the EU has approved it. So they are saying it outweighs the concerns they might have for the clotting. Spain's Ministry of Health is holding a virtual meeting with the autonomous regions this Monday, March 22nd, to debate whether to extend vaccinations with the AstraZeneca formula to those over 55 years of age. Up for discussion is a report from the Ministry of Health that proposes that doses of the vaccine can also be administered in the 55 to 65 age group, a recommendation that is in line with the countries such as France. At the moment, Spain only gives the AstraZeneca vaccine to those under 55 belonging to the essential worker groups, including police, teachers, and firefighters. The AstraZeneca vaccine has been the subject of controversy in recent weeks after thrombi and blood clotting issues were reported in around 30 European Union citizens who had been given the formula. After 3 days of analysis, the European Medicines Agency, or EMA, issued a verdict last Thursday supporting the vaccination with AstraZeneca because the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risk, and that is what they said. But they also acknowledged that it could not be totally ruled out that the issues had some kind of link with the formula. So that is the report on the vaccination there, on the AstraZeneca in particular. Okay, I want to touch on this as well. The government aid plan to compensate for up to 40% of lost income in hard-hit sectors. So they're rolling out some new plans to compensate the people that have been affected by this terrible scourge. Of the 11 billion euro total, 7 billion will be direct aid, but 2 billion of that is for the Balearic and Canary Islands. The government has given the go-ahead for 11 billion euros of support to be paid to businesses most affected by the pandemic, including those in the tourism industry. It says 7 billion of this will be in the form of direct aid to compensate the small and medium firms, SMEs, and the self-employed in some of 100 sectors considered to have been hit hardest by the health crisis, for up to 40% of the loss in income. Other companies will be compensated for up to 20%, apart from the package of subsidies that will not have to be paid back. Other measures will be applied to the whole productive network. The key points to the plan are non-repayable between 3,000 and 200,000 euros for companies and self-employed who lost at least 30% of their income in 2020 compared to 2019 due to the pandemic. Self-employed, those who pay under the module system, can apply for up to 3,000 euro compensation. The companies will receive assistance to compensate for up to 40% of the additional drop in income for SMEs and up to 20% for the rest of firms. Restructuring of debt. Beneficiaries, companies which have ICO loans, the line of assistance is 3 billion euros. That is giving a green light to the deductions and conversation into participatory loans. Recapitalization fund is also established. The concept being the sum of 1 billion euros will be allocated. The aim of this measure is to provide financial muscle to the companies in order to begin the economic recovery. So we're talking about stimulus here, and we're talking about bailouts basically to the people that have been most affected, and it is about time. It is about time that that will happen. But my only concern, guys, is that this money is going to go to those big corporations and they're not going to go to the people that actually need it, the small and medium-sized business, and especially the workers. So we're gonna have to stay tuned for that. I will be excited to talk to some owners like I have been doing and find out if they have actually received some of this money, or they're going to actually start to get some of this money, because as of now, all of those I have talked to have not received hardly anything from the government. I will reserve my judgment for later on this issue. Okay, so here is some important news regarding the new hours here in Andalusia. So all bars, restaurants, and shops in Malaga Province can open till 10:30 p.m. now, and that is from a recent decision by the Junta de Andalusia, and they have allowed for that to happen now. The night curfew also starts 1 hour later from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. and that has just happened recently over the weekend. In fact, the new measure agreed by the Junta de Andalusia will be in effect until April 9th if the main indicators do not worsen. So this is a fluid topic, and it is moving, like I said, week to week and even day to day. The extension of the opening hours is linked to the change in the curfew, which will be delayed 1 hour and applied between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. The maximum size for groups continues to be for a maximum of 6 people, except inside bar and restaurants where they are reduced to 4. 2 municipalities in the province, Colmenar and Guaucin, have to maintain their perimeter lockdown. That prevents anyone leaving and entering them except for justified reasons. For exceeding 500 cases of the virus per 100,000 inhabitants over 14 days. Colmenar has a cumulative incidence rate of 528 and Guaucin's is 629. In addition, the committee decided that the towns in the Costa del Sol and Serranía de Ronda health districts should be moved to a level 2, while the health districts Malaga, Guadalhorce, Axarquía, and La Vega stay at that level. Some mayors of towns on the western Costa del Sol, such as Torremolinos and Benalmádena, had been openly critical that their municipalities were previously at alert level 3 despite having better incidence data than some of the locations in the Malaga province. There is also an easing of restrictions relating to the capacity of hospitality and commercial businesses. and the number of people who attend funerals, religious ceremonies, and sporting events. So the level 2 restrictions at a glance are wakes and funerals, 10 people inside and 25 outside. Civil and religious ceremonies, 50% of capacity. Receptions, 100 people inside and 150 outside. Maximum capacity is 75%. Commercial establishments, 75% of the capacity with a safe distance. Public transport, 100% of seats and 75% of standing places. Environmental activities, 10 people indoors and 20 outdoors. Hotels, bars, and restaurants, 75% of the capacity indoors and 100% on terraces. Sports facilities, 65% of the capacity, 400 people inside and 800 outside. Cinemas, theaters, museums, and conferences, 75% of the capacity, 400 people inside and 800 outside. Parks are generally open. Activities, maximum of 10 people. Okay, I'm here with a woman and a man, and they are from Aurin de la Torre. And hola, ¿y cómo te llamas?
Yo Natalia.
Natalia, ¿y tú?
Fabio.
Fabio, ok, muy bien. ¿Y tú vives en Aurin de la Torre, o no?
Sí, vivimos allí juntos.
Ok, muy bien. ¿Y por cuánto, toda tu vida en Aurin?
Desde los 7 años. Con 7 años me mudé. Yo vivía antes en Málaga, en el centro, y luego con 7 años me mudé a la orilla.
Ah, ok, muy bien. ¿Cómo es la cosa en Aurin ahora? ¿Está mejorando?
Sí, ahora mismo acaba de cambiar la situación. Ahora se puede salir hasta las 11, bueno, igual que en Málaga.
Ajá.
Y los restaurantes pueden abrir también hasta las 10:30 de la noche.
Ok, muy bien. ¿Tú trabajas en Aurin o...?
Sí, yo trabajo en un restaurante de Alaurín.
Ah, en un restaurante. Ok, muy bien. ¿Y tú tienes más clientes que antes, o no?
Bueno, por la noche todavía hay poco. Mi restaurante, por ejemplo, está abriendo solo los viernes y sábados por la noche por ahora.
Ok.
Porque entre semana tampoco hay.
Ok.
Y él también trabaja en un restaurante en Alaurín.
Yo también, sí, sí.
Ah, ¿tú trabajas en Aurin también? Ok.
Sí, sí, sí. Y la verdad que entre semana sí la situación es más tranquila, pero ya por el fin de semana se mueve mucho, la gente sale.
Ah,
y
más
todo,
a fin de semana.
Sí,
ok.
sí, sí, lo disfruta bastante, eso sí, eso seguro. Y además, como tú ya sabes, Alaurín es un pueblo que tiene mucha vida al final, porque mucha gente vive ahí y hay mucho negocio, mucho comercio de varios tipos.
Ok.
Y la verdad que...
Porque antes que pasó es la gente de otros pueblos venía a Málaga porque la hora es más tarde aquí. Y yo hacía reportaje en eso. Pero ahora las horas son la misma, ¿no?
Sí, exacto, sí, son la misma. Entonces hay mucha gente que se mueve, que se viene un poco la gente de Málaga, que se viene para Aurín, porque encuentra varios comercios típicos también de ahí que son muy interesantes, la verdad.
Ok, y otra pregunta es, ¿el gobierno ha ayudado a los dos un poco? Porque me imagino que no está ganando como antes, ¿no?
Claro. Por mi cuenta, no, más que nada porque yo empecé a trabajar justo un mes antes del lockdown.
Ah, ok.
Y entonces no tenía todo el trabajo acumulado para pedir ayuda.
Ajá.
Eso,
Y esa es tu novia, ¿no?
Esa es mi
Ah,
novia,
ok.
sí,
¿Y
sí,
tú, el gobierno está ayudando tú o tu familia con algo
Sí,
o no?
mi familia sí, pero nosotros, yo más o menos la misma situación que él. Antes vivíamos en Italia y vinimos aquí a Málaga hace un año, casi antes de que empezara todo
Ah,
el
ok.
coronavirus. Entonces
Entiendo.
llevábamos poco trabajando, por eso no hemos podido coger ayuda, pero mi familia sí.
Ok, ¿y tu familia has recibido el vacunación ahora o
Mis abuelos sí.
tus abuelos?
Solo-
Ok, ¿y todo bien con eso?
Sí, por ahora todo bien. Esta semana acaban de recibir la segunda dosis de la vacuna.
Ok, perfecto. Ok, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a
ti.
las dos y suerte.
Nos vemos, muchas gracias.
Okay.
Igualmente.
Okay, thank you. So that is the latest updates and news on the Costa del Sol and Andalusia in general. And now I want to go to Adventure Elliot. He has a report for us from Madrid. So take it away, Adventure Elliot in Madrid.
Thank you, Travel Addict Guy. Welcome to Madrid. This is Adventure Elliot, and today's adventure is not going to be elsewhere in Spain. It's going to be in the capital city of Madrid. I'm here in Madrid to give you guys an update on the health situation and current environment and climate in the capital city of Spain. So let's go check out the city.
All right, as you guys can see, this is Oporto metro stop in the working class neighborhood, southern neighborhood of Madrid called Carabanchel. And this is terrace life at the hour of about 5 o'clock. Pretty early for people to be out eating, but there are a few people, and it's only gonna get packed as the evening moves along here. So movement has been less restrictive to other parts of Spain in comparison to Malaga, for example, or Valencia, and it has been like that for about the last month or two. So in terms of social life, I can't complain much about being able to move around and go do stuff here in Madrid. So let's go to the historic center and check out the scene there.
As you guys just saw there, we're in the barrio of La Latina, one of the more popular, young, hip neighborhoods of Madrid, where there's a lot of terraces to eat. And let's go check out the restaurant, terracing, social life here with the current restrictions in place. Speaking of restrictions in Madrid, what are those restrictions? Well, for restaurants, they can be at about 50% capacity indoors. 6 people can meet and eat outside on the terrace, 4 people inside. Restaurants have to close at 11 p.m. and the curfew for regular citizens, residents, is midnight, 12 o'clock. And so restaurants stop serving people at 10, but as you'll see here, even here at about 5:30 p.m., which is not the busiest hour, there's plenty of people out socializing, living life normally. Quite different than what you've been seeing in Carrie Travel Addict Guy's videos down there in Malaga.
All right, so as you can see here in this little plaza, there's terrace life action going on. Even though it's early, it's 5:30. Like I said, La Latina is a younger, more hip, groovy neighborhood with people who love to come out and live the typical Madrid social life. So we're gonna head this way and go to one of the most iconic sites in Madrid called the Plaza Mayor.
Hey guys, well, in other news, specifically vaccine news related to the AstraZeneca vaccine, they suspended the AstraZeneca vaccine last week, but here they've since updated it. They're going to start redistributing and giving jabs, as they say, to people here in 2 days on Wednesday. So I work in education at a school, so I'm part of that group between the age of 18 and 55 that's eligible for the vaccine. I registered my information almost a month ago and I haven't heard a thing. You know, I've had coworkers who've got the first jab. They've reported varying symptoms. Some of them have had no symptoms. Some of them, you know, they've had fevers and they've been quite lousy. They had to miss a couple days of school. But anyways, I haven't got the first dose yet because 1, they suspended it. 2, things in Spain, well, they move really slow.
As you see here, this is sort of the iconic entrance to the Plaza Mayor. We have this little entryway here, and it's always fun to come here when you come to the historic center of Madrid. So let's go check it out and see what that looks like. Here, normally, if there was a normal amount of tourists here, without COVID and all this stuff that's happened last year, this would just be swarming with people, especially here as we approach Semana Santa and the spring weather warms up. This would just be a place where everybody would be out and you would see international tourists everywhere. But really the last year, this has just been completely empty in comparison. It's still early here, but all these restaurants that would normally be filled with tourists and people alike have been completely empty, so much so that these guys have to recruit people as they walk by, when normally it's just as easy as tourists coming there and buying food. Well, so here's the Plaza Mayor, and it is quite an iconic site and historical site for that matter. I love coming here myself.
Those of you who have been to Madrid before, you're probably thinking, wow, there's no one there. And it is quite strange. But at the same time, I live in Madrid and I think it's kind of unique to come here and sort of have the place to yourself. But, you know, at this point, I'd wish there was tourists. I wish things were open. I wish you could be traveling again. And I would be happy to be traveling and supporting economies elsewhere, like in Andalusia. With the vaccine, the AstraZeneca being suspended here, Spain was already behind on vaccinating people at the rate they wanted to following the plan, and now they're even more behind. And this isn't looking good because we're already sacrificing Semana Santa. Tourists are not going to be moving domestically within Spain. So a lot of these smaller economies in the rural parts of Spain, or even the Costa del Sol, that depends on international tourism and Semana Santa travel, is going to be drastically affected in a negative manner. And so we've sacrificed Semana Santa, provided that the vaccination plans work so that we can get tourism coming back by summer. But at this rate, with the vaccine rollout, it's honestly not looking like it's going to be a thing, right? How can we achieve 70% vaccination, get everyone vaccine passports so that we can have international tourism here to get these economies back on track? You know, if we can't even get the first dose to people.
The first area there in the Plaza Mayor was empty with people, but this terrace is rather packed. I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe it has better service, better restaurant, better reputation. But It's oh, what's up, man? Gracias. Wow, nice. This guy's being awesome here. All right, guys, we are nearing the Costa del Sol, and look at this spring weather scene here. Quite beautiful, if you ask me. All right, let's go check it out. Okay, guys, as you can see, that's the Presidencia Comunidad de Madrid, where you guessed it, Isabel Ayuso works out of, and she is the politician here, the president of the Community of Madrid. She's part of the People's Party, which is a leaning right political party here in Madrid. And basically, when it comes to the health situation and the economy here, she's much more for the economy, keeping things open. She's against restrictions. So as you can imagine, she's very upset, along with a lot of other people here in the Community of Madrid that just learned that the borders will be closed for not only all these other autonomous communities in Spain, like Andalusia, Valencia, Murcia, but also here in Madrid, the economic hub of the city. So that's gonna do some interesting things, right? Madrid is a city of 6 million plus people, or the metropolitan area, that is. And so those 6 million people aren't going to be distributing themselves and traveling for Semana Santa and going to places like Andalusia, the Balearic Islands, the Canary Islands, etc. And therefore, those economies in those parts of Spain are definitely going to suffer because, like I said, they do depend on tourism. But the opposite's going to happen here in Madrid. These businesses are going to do better, right? In a city that honestly doesn't need as much economic help as places like southern Spain need. Now, on the other hand, the point of all these closures and restrictions of movement are to combat another fourth wave of the virus here, to avoid a rise in cases like we've seen on the first, second, and third waves. But what's going to happen here in Madrid specifically, I think, is that, right, we have 6 million people. They're all on vacation. No one's going to be working because it's a holiday. Everyone's going to come out to these terraces here to Costa del Sol right behind me, and this is just going to be packed for a week straight. People are going to be celebrating. They're going to be partying. And the contagion rate's going to go up here, at least in the Community of Madrid. I don't know what's going to happen in other communities, but it's going to be interesting to see the health situation evolve and the economic situation. The economic situation is going to do better here in Madrid, and probably not the same in other parts of Spain. So you can put all these restrictions in place. You can put limitations on the capacity of restaurants and social gatherings, but at the end of the day, when all 6 million people are staying here in Madrid, the police just simply aren't going to be able to regulate all these restrictions. People are going to break the rules. Contagion is likely going to go up. And yeah, I mean, so all these restrictions for none or for some, we will see. All right, guys, like I said, this is the Costa del Sol, the kind of dead center of the historic center here. And it's pretty calm right now because it's only about 6 o'clock in the evening here on Monday. But I guarantee you, tonight or on a Friday, Saturday night, this place is just loaded. And here, this street that goes to Gran Via also is loaded. Look at all the people walking. This is Madrid. This is a typical day in Madrid. Only a Monday, not a busy day. You can imagine as the week goes on, it gets a lot busier. So social life is rather normal here in Madrid, and has been. So as I said, the autonomous communities in Spain are closing completely for Semana Santa. No movement to or from the communities. But ironically, German tourists are going to be able to visit the Canary Islands, Madrid, the Balearic Islands. Yes, with the PCR test, but still, Spanish people cannot move within the country, but international tourists, yes, they can come into the country. Hey, you guys, this is Callao, Plaza Callao, with Gran Via right here, the iconic Gran Via. And this is one of the famous hotels. This is the Schweppes Hotel. I actually think Travel Addict guy has stayed there, he told me. And this is another iconic plaza here, and quite beautiful and very busy, although right now it's not that busy just because of the hour, but it has those kind of Times Square vibes of a big city, advertisements everywhere, and coincidentally, Libertad, freedom, huh? I'm not sure if that's some sort of sign, but this is Gran Via, and that down there is the Riu Hotel, and Gran Via goes this way to the other part of Madrid. All right, guys, that was Adventure Elliot reporting to you guys from a different place today, from Madrid. Thank you, Travel Addict guy, for allowing me to do this. Now, of course, I'm completely disappointed by not being able to travel. I, for one, was excited. I had planned to go visit Travel Addict guy down in Malaga. We were going to make some cool videos, and I was excited to support the local economies. I've been paying attention to what Travel Addict guy has been doing there, giving videos on the economy and the tourism there.
And so I was, you know, excited because Andalusia does have a special place in my heart, and I want to get back there as soon as possible. But I hope you enjoyed that update from Madrid. Again, thank you, Travel Addict Guy. I'll see you guys, Adventure Elliot from Madrid.
Okay guys, so some positive news today. I'm happy to report some good news. Bars and restaurants open till 10:30 and a later curfew. It is a good start to hopefully a progression that will take us much further this summer, and I will keep you informed on all of that. I want to thank Adventure Elliot for the report there from Madrid. Very good job there as well. So I hope you're doing well, everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Travel Addict Guy. Take care, everyone.